Folks, the gerrymandering battle continues after the Republicans, of course, did what they did in Texas. Now Donald Trump has leaned on Missouri Republicans do the same. Republicans there are trying to get rid of the congressional seat of Congressman Emanuel Cleaver in Kansas City. Now, Democrats are in the minority in the state, so they are actually having a sit-in. Joining us right now to talk about that is he's from Jefferson City, actually from Jefferson City, the Missouri State Representative Jeremy Dean. Jeremy, glad to have you on Roland Martin Unfiltered. So, again, explain to folks there the perilous situation Democrats face in terms of look, you can't stop them from doing what they're doing. So what is the point of the sit-in? Lay it out to us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you set it up really great there, Roland, and I appreciate you having me on tonight to be able to spread the word about what's happening here. Missouri is very different than what we saw in Texas. Unfortunately, here in the state of Missouri, Democrats hold a super minority, meaning that Republicans can do anything in this building without a single vote from Democrats. And so that does mean that we can't stop this. We know that Republicans are taking their orders directly from Donald Trump, straight from Washington, D.C. They are being guided by that team in Washington, D.C. to take out Reverend and Congressman Emanuel Cleaver. So what we're doing here is trying to bring attention to what's happening in Missouri. For too long, voters have been able to not pay attention to what's going on, and it's far too past the point for that to happen. And so we're making noise across the state of Missouri, across the United States, to make this basically as painful as possible for these Republicans, to make them understand how bad this truly is for the state of Missouri and the United States.
Apologize, Jeremy. I'm having some audio issues here. So here's the thing that jumps out to me immediately when I think about this here. What Republicans are doing, again, trying to exert their power. But what they're trying to do here is, again, is akin to a racist gerrymander by targeting Congressman Emanuel Cleaver. Look, you only got two African Americans in the state, Cleaver in Kansas City and Congressman Wesley Bell in St. Louis.
Yeah, and this is just part of the course, right? Like, the Republicans have shown us time and time and time again that their number one priority is to overturn the will of the voters, especially here in the state of Missouri, whether that's reproductive rights or just having a minority group or Black people being able to have the representation that they deserve in the United States Congress. Right now, you may see that they didn't really touch the first congressional district that Congressman Wesley Bell sits in, because it is theoretically protected by the Voting Rights Act, although we know how much protection that really has. So they went after the pick that they did, which was Emanuel Cleaver, and they are splitting a historically Black neighborhood directly into 3 separate districts in order to be able to get this done. It is a racist attack. It's a direct attack on the Black community, because they know that the Black community stands up whenever they need to make their voices heard, and the Republicans in the state of Missouri simply don't want to hear their voice.
All right, you can't stop them. What are you saying to the voters about what they can do? Because the reality is they can be stopped at the ballot box.
Exactly, and that's exactly what we're telling them. The number one message that we have from this is that this can go on no longer. 2026 may be the last chance that we have at saving our country from the megalomaniac that's sitting in the White House, making sure that people understand that that this is happening in the State House of Missouri. There are people sitting in this chamber on the Republican side that won their district by less than 100 votes. So when we have apathetic voters not going out, not voting, that allows them to continue to win these seats and continue to take control of the state. So getting the message across that you truly do have value and you do have power in your vote, but only if you utilize that vote. And so we have to show what is happening here in the state of Missouri, because this doesn't just affect Missouri. When we lose Congressman Emanuel Cleaver in Washington, D.C., we lose a voice not only for Kansas City, but for people across the United States. Everybody deserves to have representation, whether that's from the state of Missouri or whether it's from Delaware, it doesn't matter. And so they have to get up, they have to vote, because we can stop this.
All right, then. Representative Jeremy Dean, look, Good luck with it. It's about, of course, representing the people, and hopefully people are really understanding what y'all are doing and how vitally important this is to fighting democracy and to fight these racist gerrymandering Republicans are leading across the country.
Yeah, and if I can just add one more thing with the initiative petition process, since it's down there on the bottom of the headline, that is another thing that Republicans are attacking here in this state. A lot of people don't know what the initiative petition process is, and it's an extremely valuable tool to the citizens of the state of Missouri. And what that is citizens can go out by themselves. They collect signatures to get a priority that they have on the ballot. And then they show up to the ballot and can pass that with a simple majority. The reason that it's important in Missouri is because Republicans control the state of Missouri and consistently let voters down. They aren't here focusing on the fact that people can't afford rent, the fact that 364,000 Black women have lost their jobs since Donald Trump has taken office. They don't care about gas prices, grocery prices. None of those things do they actually care about, and that's what our voters are asking us to care about. We're spending nearly $30,000 a day, if not more, just to run this special session so that we can continue to lick the boot of Donald Trump. We have to stop this, and this is the way that we're going to do it.
All right. Representative Dean, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely, Roland. Thanks for having me on, and thanks for being the voice of Black America.
We're seeing what happened. This is an arms race. You got Republicans who are pissed off that California countered Texas, so they're trying to gerrymander Missouri. You're looking at Florida. You're looking at Ohio. And so Democrats are talking about it in New York State. But the key here is this is an absolute attack on Black political representation. That's what people need to understand.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can also go to the Supreme Court and everything that they're doing as it relates to voting rights. When I think about what happened in 2024 with the last election, everybody talks about, well, we had fair elections and Donald Trump came out the winner. Well, we had free elections, but they weren't fair. And this is one of the reasons that it's not fair is because of what they're doing with gerrymandering, in addition to everything that they've been doing with their voter suppression efforts. And to be quite honest, Roland, I'm getting a little bit concerned because Gavin Newsom has been the only one from the Democratic Party in terms of governors who has been talking about actively starting this process of the redistricting. But I've heard people like Hochul say we're not going to stand for it. I've heard Governor Moore say that they're considering it. But we're in, September now? When are people going to get on the good foot as it relates to this? When this story first came out about what they were doing in Texas, I was on this show saying that Democrats should not be waiting. They shouldn't have this mindset of, well, if Texas does it, we're going to do it. They need to do it, period. Florida's already messing around, and there's other random states out there that I'm sure we're just not hearing, but they're just sailing under the radar. And before you know it, there's going to be about 6 or 7 other seats that have been added in addition to Texas that people just didn't know was going to happen. And this is why Democrats need to be on the offense. What Gavin Newsom doing is great, but it's still a defensive move. They need to overwhelm these voters, these Republicans in every way, shape, or form. And when I hear a story like this today, I just can't stop but think about the other states. So it's time for more, for Hochul, other governors who've been thinking about doing this. This is a war for our future, and not just Black people in America, but this country in general. We have a president who's not going to try to leave, and we have a House that's not going to try to lose power in 2026. All they know how to do is cheat because their positions are unpopular.
They are scared to death they're going to lose the House. That's why they're trying to, in essence, proof this election by rigging it. That's all this is about, is naked partisanship, but also it is racist gerrymandering. That's what this is. Christopher, can you hear me?
Are y'all surprised?
I think he's muted.
Like, this is Missouri, okay? This is the show me state. More like the show me that we're a racist state. From the state that brought you Ferguson, let's not forget about that, and all the racism that happened from there. Let's go all the way back. This is a state that brought you the Dred Scott decision. So the people who have said you're a Black person who will never be a person, and we are never going to identify any type of rights that you will ever have, because Black men and Black people are not humans altogether. This is Missouri. They are showing you who they are, just like Republicans show you who they are. Democrats have to wake up. In fact, I'm not even going to say Democrats have to wake up. Democrats already know what the deal is. They're just not leading. They're not doing anything to really stand up and say, we have to fight back. And you know why? Because Democrats play by the rules. Well, hey, if the rules are saying you're not a person, then throw the rules out the book. Those rules are completely immoral, and they're set up for people to win, for Republicans to win. So you have to do something different. Like was said before, Gavin Newsom, what he's doing is a reactionary issue. Democrats have to go on the offensive. How do you go on the offensive when you're not on power? Well, Republicans were doing that during the Obama administration, thwarting almost everything that he was trying to do, even when the Congress was, the Senate and the House had Democratic rule to it. So what you can do right now is what we're doing right now, making sure that people are educated. A lot of people do not know about these issues. I cannot tell you how many calls I've gotten on what is gerrymandering. No, this is a time when everyone needs to be on the same page and make a decision on what they want in this future. And in this future, we know it's not just going to stop with Missouri or Texas. Republicans know they're not even popular within their own party, but they are going to keep power. And it's going to be up to Democrats. Let me take out Democrats. It's going to be up to the people to say, do you want to live in a democracy or not? Because it is faltering, and it's going to get to a point where it's going to be over for America as we know it.
Well, Dr. Carson, to that point there, I've made the point that we've got to have in this country what I call freedom schools. We got to have City Hall 101, State Government 101, Congress 101, Judicial Branch 101, because there are a lot of people who really don't understand how the dots are all connected. And so when we talk about these issues, we talk about the impact to what you just heard there, when people don't even know what gerrymandering is, not realizing what really is at stake. And the other thing is this here, is that, there are people who say, a lot of African Americans say, man, I don't want to hear all this Democratic talk. But this is very simple. You got two choices. It's going to be Democrat or Republican. And as Dr. Greg Carr always says, that the Democratic Party should be seen as a delivery agent. It's not the be-all, the end-all. It's not amazing and wonderful and great and is always protective of black interests. But the reality is one person is going to win. They're either going to be a Republican or a Democrat. And we see that MAGA Republicans don't give a damn about black people at all.
No, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here to speak a little bit about this. I feel like one of the ways that we lose people is that we don't make the rhetorical stakes as clear as they possibly could be. And so in my work, I'm engaging with young people all the time who are particularly interested in hip hop and in music and in cultural products, but then we have all of these ways that those cultural products are kind of filtering out anything that seems newsworthy or noteworthy. And so the places where we might have previously learned some of these things are through cultural production, like music, through hip hop, and places like after school programs, or places like freedom schools, places like, like the institutions where I imagine like my political education comes from, which is in dialogue with really the rap music that people thought was the worst thing in the world for the young people who were growing up during that time period. And I think that one of the ways that we might, in lieu of some kind of overhaul instantly, intervene in some of these issues about political education is to hold ourselves and our cultural producers to task, to help to intervene in some of these things, which is, primarily what I'm interested in doing, not in like asking a rapper to be more politically astute than he or she really is, but to say that these things that are being produced should say something about the world that we're living in. And even the things that don't say anything particularly about gerrymandering, particularly about the political process, particularly about the rhetorical stakes that exist right now, it should still be instructive for us to be able to utilize that in order to bring folks into the conversation who feel like these conversations are absolutely not about them, are not listening to them, and have nothing to do with them at all. And so I think that that has a whole lot, or that puts a lot of work on us as the folks who might consider ourselves in the know, to try to bring the conversation in accessible ways to people who might receive that information and then act accordingly.
Well, yeah, and I just think that, listen, you got a lot of young folks who are not happy with the direction of the country. There are people who have sat out. There are people who said, hey, you know what, I don't want to participate. But guess what? Rights are being taken. I think about all of these students who were complaining about student loan debt and wanted Biden to completely outlaw it. Well, the Supreme Court said it was unconstitutional, and Donald Trump don't give a damn about that. And so they're rolling that stuff back. And so people are going to have to, and Congo, people can start talking about all this lesser of two evils crap that they want. You are seeing evil. The Supreme Court, we're going to talk about this a little bit later, literally said, oh, yeah, Trump, ICE can actually stop people based upon characteristics like speaking Spanish and how they look. That is racial profiling, pure and simple. So people need to understand these are white supremacists who literally are snatching people off the streets. The stakes are high, and if these people are allowed to remain in power another 2 years, 4 years, they're going to cement power for 100 years.
Oh, absolutely. And just real quick on the student loan piece, note that ICE, one of the parts of its job offering is student loan debt repayment. So if you join them, you can get your student loans paid off. And so even that, Trump has found a roundabout way to make sure it benefits his supporters. The fact of the matter is that Republicans have always looked historically at Democrats who win elections as cheaters. You can go back to Newt Gingrich. You can go back before that. This is what they do, and Donald Trump is a culmination of it. And now more than ever, particularly with a Congress that has given him the green light to do whatever he wants, they see that this is their greatest opportunity to seize power. This is why Donald Trump is saying, I feel entitled to these seats and everything else. This is a guy just got announced that his family's now worth about $5 billion. And so people are seeing daily, hopefully paying attention to the fact that he is ripping them off at every single juncture. And this is, as people talk about the second Gilded Age that we're living in right now, well, one of the ways the Gilded Age came to the end before with attacking of the robber barons was people realized that they were getting screwed. They were getting played. And this is happening on every level now. And I know we're going to talk about this later with the agriculture, but so many people are having find out moments right now. But the question, Roland, becomes, what do you do once you find out? Because when we watch some of these videos, people are complaining and the like, but they still are not saying they'll vote for Democrats. They're still not saying they're going to vote against Trump, or they're going to, even stay home and the next MAGA person runs. And that's the next part of this, because they are so downtrodden, but they don't feel like they have anywhere else to go. And then you add that to the 90 million people who stayed home. And there's a lot of people out there who I'm still not convinced are going to come out for Democrats in 2026, despite all of this that's happening. Maybe more of them need to hit rock bottom, as Dr. Carr is always talking about. Maybe they're not there yet, but we need the Black Star Network. We need what we're doing here to continue to raise awareness, because, I have a daughter in college. I have a daughter and senior in high school and a fifth grade son. And I think about what's happening to their potential future. That makes me get energized and motivated every day. You talk about, your nieces and nephews and stuff and all of that. We have to continue to make this personal if we want to see this change happen.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.